Time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is absolutely incredible to be with you. This is Wednesday as we are going live. And, last couple shows been with Wayne, which I freaking love that dude. It's been a little bit since we've done a solo pod. Usually, every other day is solo show. And I wanted to do something a little bit different today. As I see all the hashtag CCers come in, I want to step back. And I want to focus the conversation predominantly around, we'll get into practice reports, we'll get into transactions for the 49ers. I want this to be an NFL-centric philosophical podcast on the most important position in all of pro sports, not only the NFL, and that's the quarterback. And so, it's easy to kind of classify this as a quarterback power rankings episode, which is, I want the conversation to channel around that. And I need y'all's help. So when you disagree, or when you want to interject an idea or maybe something I'm missing, throw that in the chat. We got Clayton, the madman, the mad scientist behind the scenes. He's going to be running all of those things. But, what I wanted to do again is, one, this is an entire exercise to see like where Jimmy Garoppolo is and how that affects the 49ers. Two, I think it's much more important for the future of the 49ers, whether you're looking at Trey Lance, whether that's Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody else. Trade rumors swirling from, how do you say this? Clickbait shows and articles that's there. I mean, it's the, trading deadline. So that's what's up. I've even seen and again, I don't go looking for these things. I just get them DM'd to me or texted to me all the time. A 3-way trade involving Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, and the article couldn't even make sense of it, so it didn't even leave out the third form of the triangle trade. Like, there's just a bunch out there right now. So they're fun, and I love those exercises, jumping in and out and trying to figure out, like, okay, how can we make this work or not make this work? But it brought me to this. How do you measure 2022 quarterbacks and forward? Because some teams are narrowed focus this year only. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're, you see your championship window closing, how do you do that? I don't see the 49ers in that argument whatsoever. I see the 49ers in a 2022 plus moving forward. And I do see Trey Lance as the quarterback moving forward after this year, but whatever. That's a conversation for another day. Now, as we get into this, here's what's important. I tried to find the simplest metric or number to boil down, okay, where these quarterbacks fit. No single number, not passer rating, not QBR, none of those things gets closest to me. The most important metric for me is touchdown to turnover ratio. So passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, interceptions, fumbles. Those two, you put those two together, tells you a pretty damn good story. Now, the one thing that I will say is that I'm not doing okay, this is my quarterback 2, quarterback 3, whatever. I tier them. I have the elite tier, great tier, good tier, average, below average, way below average, bad. So that's where we are. And again, don't give a damn what you did in the past. That does not affect what we're doing here. I care about what you're doing now, moving forward. Okay, so like guys like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, who are in the final, twilight of their year. We've been saying that for, Tom Brady for decades, but those guys get penalized a little bit because it's kind of a rent-a-quarterback situation, whatever. So my first tier is the elite tier, okay? And again, remember, the number I ascribe to every single quarterback, it goes back to this idea of touchdowns to turnovers. And remember, rushing touchdowns, passing touchdowns versus interceptions, fumbles. That's what's important to me. Okay, that's the number one metric. There's way more to it. It's not that simple, but I didn't want this to be a super stat heavy episode. I wanted it to be something that was very measurable to start this conversation. So here we go. Elite. I have 4 elite quarterbacks currently. And again, I don't care. I don't give a damn what you did in the past. Don't care. Four elite quarterbacks in the NFL. I've got Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, I think he's the absolute best. Which, man, again, Next Gen Stats put out a tweet saying the Patrick Mahomes versus the 49ers last week was the best quarterback performance since Next Gen Stats has started. The number one all-time quarterback game that they have ever measured. And Clayton just walked out of the room. That's how great 15 was. It's how bad the 49ers defense and Patrick and D'Amico Ryans was. I mean, it was just awful. It was so bad. But I digress. On this scale, he has a 2.8 grade, which is number one across the entire NFL. So, again, he has a 2.8 ratio, right, of touchdowns versus turnovers, which is just crazy. He's already passed for 2,100 yards. We don't need to spend time there. He's the best there is in the quarterback. Now, in that same tier, I have Josh Allen. Obviously, he's at a 2.1. You've got Herbert at a 2.0. And you've got Jalen Hurts at a 2.4. Now, I'm not the biggest, if I'm picking one of these quarterbacks to start my franchise, Hurts ain't going to be in my top four. I'll tell you that right now. But you cannot deny that he has played incredibly. 67% completion percentage, 1,500 yards passing, rushed for almost another 300, 6 rushing touchdowns, 6 passing touchdowns, just not making that many mistakes. And so anytime you're 2-0 and above, you're going to be great. So those are my elite quarterbacks. And again, you can mix and match however you want to. But I think that Hurts belongs there. It's through 6 games. They just got off their bye week, and they just made a big trade for pennies on the dollar. 4th rounder for Robert Quinn. They're getting better. They're getting better. Now, I have 2 quarterbacks in my great tier. I didn't want to put them in the elite. I didn't want to put them in the good tier. So they're kind of like right there. That's Lamar Jackson and Burrow. Now, 3 games ago, I would have put Lamar Jackson in the elite tier, but he's kind of struggled back a little bit. He's at a 1.6 touchdown to turnover ratio. I think he probably would have been MVP, already over 500 yards rushing, 13 passing touchdowns, but he has struggled just a little bit the last couple of weeks. And Burrow, you got to give him credit. I think the best half I've ever seen a quarterback play was last week. Sure enough, I was going to get some in fantasy. But yeah, over 2,000 yards passing already, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's just, when Burrow's on, and Burrow's interesting. I could write a dissertation on Burrow because he doesn't belong. The way he comes out of a lab doesn't make sense because he doesn't have a strong arm. He doesn't have any strong physical metrics. He's not fast. He's not mobile. It doesn't make sense. He's all up here. Literally less athletic and a less strong arm than Jimmy Garoppolo, but the dude chunks it deep nonstop. It shows you that, you can't measure everything because Burrow, he ain't got it. Those again, he doesn't have it. You go to a combine, this dude ain't coming out top 10. He ain't coming out top 20. He's freaking Nick Mullins. I'm just being honest with you. But his moxie, his understanding, his chill, all those things. And he's got one of the best wide receivers. He's got the best wide receiving core in the NFL. So I think that helps a lot. He's at 2.25. So those are my 2 great tiered quarterbacks. And now we get to good. And here's the thing. And here's what I'll say. If you don't have one of those top 6 quarterbacks, guess what your job is as an NFL front office? You got to try and get one. You don't have one of those top 6, you got to try and get one. That's all there is to it. It's very, very simple. And just because you already had one and he used to be one, that don't mean crap. Well, look at Matt Ryan. He out of job. Benji said, Burrow said if Chase is 1-on-1, he's throwing it to Chase no matter what. Right. Yeah. Again, it's all up here. Is Jimmy Garoppolo ever going to do that with anybody? No, there's no way in hell he would do that. It's just not who he is. But the mindset, everything that Burrow is, Jimmy is not. And that's not necessarily a slight, like be who you are. Burrow's a killer. That dude's an assassin. It's just who he is. And the fact that he took that team to the Super Bowl last year was unbelievable. Anyway, so if you don't have one of those top 6, you got to get one. You got to go get one. That's what the NFL continues to kind of teach is, look, you can have a great team and yeah, everybody wants to say Trent Dilfer or whatever. Don't give a damn. You look at the Super Bowl champions list, it's dominated by top tier quarterbacks. Tom Brady, right? Um, Joe Montana, Steve Young. Like, if you have elite quarterback play, you can win it all. You can overcome average quarterback play. There's no doubt about it. But if you're not elite, that top 6, maybe top 8, it's just all you other guys. Now, Doggo, he says, can Trey be one of those top 6? Okay. Again, I am a staunch Trey Lance supporter. Has the first 2 seasons gone like we wanted to? Hell no. Not even close. The injury, the sitting a year, all those things. But you tell me why Trey can't get to that level. Let me tell you this right now. Trey Lance is the youngest quarterback on this list. If he was on this, I didn't rank Trey. He didn't do anything this year. He got hurt 5 quarters in. Arm strength, yes. Mental intelligence, yes. Mobility, yes. So work ethic, yes. Can he be? Of course he can. Will he be? Nobody can answer that question. Nobody can. 49ers and Kyle Shanahan believed he could be that. Hated the way that the first 5 quarters went. Didn't like that at all. But do you gauge what this 22-year-old with only 1 year starting college experience could be after 5 quarters in 2022? I don't think you do. And if you do, you're missing it. But it wasn't the best, especially when 4 of those quarters. First off, it rained all 5 quarters of his play. One of the games, 4 quarters, was just unbelievable. My phone didn't work for 3 days afterwards. So if you want to measure that as a quarterback, if you want to look to last year, the Cardinals game, whenever he had a broken finger, that's cool. Go ahead. I don't think that's smart. And again, I'm not one of those people that's going to sit here and guarantee you Trey Lance is going to be elite quarterback. I don't think that's the case. And the longer we wait, the less and less confident I am. He's going into the year 3 next year. Let's see here. Doggo. Also, would you say Stafford played elite last year? No, I would not. I would say that he had the biggest bust rate / big play rate. Like, he was just gunning all over the place. Led the NFL in interceptions. That's not elite play ever. Led the NFL in pick sixes. That's not elite. Elite backwards. But he was able to make enough big plays, and Cooper Kupp was so good that it didn't matter. The defense was so good that it didn't matter. So no, I would not say Stafford was elite. I'd say he's probably top 8 last year. I'd put him in that category. I don't even think I put him top 6 last year. But he was so explosive for so long. That's what would set him apart. So yeah, again, you can win the Super Bowl without elite quarterbacks, not consistently, right? And Matt Stafford, look across his career. He was on a much better team with, 3 other Hall of Famers, and I think that changed things. Maybe 4. Anyway, all right, let's get to this good section. Not great, good section. This is 7 to 12 is that I got. And again, the order I have them in, you can move them around as much as you want to. Don't really care. But these 7 to 12, these are the ones where I'm just like, all right, whatever. Geno, golly, can't believe he's in this conversation. But you kind of got to put him there. 73.5% completion percentage is nuts. He's got a 2.0 touchdown to turnover ratio, which is wonderful. 1,700 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles, 1 rushing touchdown. He's been efficient. His worst game was against us, where he just got dogged. Hopefully that happens again. Tom Brady, he's at 2.0. I know a lot of people probably are going to put Brady higher, but if you look at what they've done, he's got 1,900 yards passing, which is a lot, but 8 passing touchdowns. He's got 3 fumbles, 1 interception. They really haven't looked in sync, but they're throwing a ridiculous amount of yards, 66% completion percentage, but they're losing to bad teams. You know what I mean? And again, like, they're 3-4. They're winning their division because it's a bad division, but they're 3-4. Like, they haven't been good. How much of that do you put on Tom Brady? He just hasn't looked great. He hasn't looked great. The team hasn't looked great. And I think it's interesting too because we know Brady's different and very what's the word I want to use? He causes mischief and dissension among the ranks. All right, pushed out Bruce Arians. And so was Bruce Arians the one that was holding it all together? I don't know. We'll see. The Bucks still scare me from a 49er standpoint. That is one team I do not want to play in the playoffs. In the NFC, I would rather play any team besides probably the Eagles and the Bucks. I feel the 49ers would have the advantage over any of those teams. And then I know I can hear some people right now, not the Falcons or the Bears. Yeah, yeah, fair. Touche. But I got Brady there. I've got Tua. He's got 2.25. So he's over these other guys. Daniel Jones, 2.25. Cousins, 1.6. And Aaron Rodgers, 1.2. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been great at all, to say the least. Like, he is low on a lot of these lists. But 11 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 6 fumbles. He is holding that ball forever, and they're getting to him. None your business says Tom is old. Father Time is undefeated. He's beaten it more than anybody else. I will say that. But yeah, it's the crazy thing for me, right? Whenever you look at Father Time and you see this in Matt Ryan, you just see these long arching rainbow throws, kind of like what Jimmy did at the 5-yard line, that Hail Mary he threw. Like, you see a lot of those. And I'm not implying Jimmy's like getting late, but I'm saying that the quarterback's getting tired is when the arm strength dissipates. Tom Brady still got arm strength. Bucks still have one of the most aggressive vertical passing threats in the NFL. That's why I kept screaming, like, when people were like, oh, we could trade Jimmy for Tom Brady straight up. And I'm like, why the hell would the Bucks want Jimmy Garoppolo, the least down the field passer in the past 2 decades of the NFL, going to the most downfield aggressive passing attack? Are you freaking insane? That's like the dumbest idea ever. You look at who they drafted, Kyle Trask. Dude's Ben Roethlisberger with a cannon, right? Not a good quarterback, but he's got a strong arm. Brady still has that arm. So yeah, we'll see here. Benji, he says Bucks have to throw, they can't run at all, so he's going to get yards. Yeah, they got a lot of yards last year too. All those injuries inside of the offensive line really hurt them. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, they got to throw it. And whenever you're getting blown out by the freaking Carolina Panthers by like several scores, that's hilarious to me. Like, the NFL this year, probably more than any year I could ever remember, it's just weird. Again, Tom Brady and the Bucks are 3-4. Like, what the hell? What is that about? Seattle's in first place. Come on, man. Like, how does any of this make sense? It just really, really doesn't. The Jets are 5-2. Miami's 4-3. Like, it's just weird. Daniel Jones is 6-1. Do you understand that? That's crazy. Like, it's just a weird year. Now, I will add to this, the first 2 months or the first 2 kind of quarters, usually divided up into 4s, right? The first 8 weeks or the first half, that's where things get weird, and then things start to kind of level out. That's usually what happens. Look at last year. 49ers 3-5. What is going on? What is going on? They level out. They get hot at the right time. Good things happen. You can do those things. So yeah, it's a weird year, but let's just stay the course. The cream will rise to the top, and you hope the 49ers are part of that. I think that they are. I really do. I think that they are. Now, before we get to our average and below quarterbacks, I want to take just a real quick second and thank our sponsor, MyBookie. I hope you bet with us, man. We got it last week. Excited about next week. Been doing research like crazy. We'll be posting our bets on Patreon soon. Patreon.com/49ers Podcast. But here we go. You guys know what it is. It is winning season at MyBookie. As always, if you want to enjoy the football games, 49ers, or just NFL, or really any sport in general, you can bet on anything over there. MyBookie.ag. We've been with them for years. Very trusted site. Get your money in, get your money out easily. And on top of that, all season,
double deposit bonus. Whenever you first deposit your money, let's say you deposit $250, you get $500 credited to your account if you just use our promo code 49ERS or scan this QR code right to the side of me if you're watching this on YouTube. And again, it just sets you up completely. My bookie is incredible. Bet with us. We're on Patreon. We share our bets every single week, all season long. So join us, mybookie.ag, promo code 49ers. Bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
All right, here we go. So we've got our 12 good quarterbacks, right? Now our average quarterbacks. And again, I put the touchdown to turnover ratio very, very high. Kyler Murray, who I think a lot of people would put closer to the good or elite tier. Man, I'm sorry, guys. He's got 7 passing touchdowns, okay? 4 interceptions, 5 fumbles. That ain't it. 2 rushing touchdowns. He's got a 1.0. He's exactly even. So the same amount of touchdowns as the turnovers. That's not good. Not to mention leadership ability. Now, maybe his leadership ability is amazing on Call of Duty whenever it's double XP weekend, but not on the field. Yelling at coaches, climbing step stools. He's got to do what he's got to do. But I'm just not a Kyler guy. Just not a Kyler guy. Dak, he's only played 2 games, but he's only thrown 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception. I think Dak will be higher on this list eventually, probably the good category, but you haven't seen it so far. I just can't see it. Can't imagine taking Kyler over Bosa in the draft. I love it, Clayton. I love it. Hashtag ban turf. Yeah, it's interesting. I think the quarterback is such a valuable position. I don't think it was a bad pick, but the fact that they have 0 playoff wins, I think that hurts, right? So like you get a quarterback, and I think Kyler, he's made it. He made the extension. But yeah, Bosa, I think is one of the best players in the NFL. I don't think anybody would say that about Kyler. Again, just ranking wise, I have him in that 13 to 16 range. Ryan Tannehill, 1.4. He's made some big plays at big moments, but again, is he even going to keep this job long term? Derek Carr, 1.2. He hasn't been very good. 1,500 passing yards. That's a lot, but 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3 fumbles. Like he's got a 1.2 grade. So that's my 13 to 16. Now I have Jimmy Garoppolo in his own tier. I have him at the 17. Okay. So where would you put him? I want a number. Where do you think Jimmy Garoppolo would be on this list? And again, I have him 17. So I placed him kind of in this tier. Sorry, I got a chapter president calling me for this weekend, which I'm super excited about. What's up, BC? I texted back. I'll call him back. But the whole idea is like, where do you put him? I have him 17. Okay. Ernest says, I believe Jimmy overall is number 2 in the NFL. As you speak, I believe he could look at the numbers. You got Jimmy. I wish people stop saying he's not a good quarterback, please. And thank you. Interesting. I love it, man. Appreciate your opinion. So what I did is I went throughout the NFL and found as many quarterback recent rankings as of this week. And I just wanted to kind of put into perspective what national beat writers see Jimmy Garoppolo as. Mark Sessler, one of my favorite writers of NFL.com, he has him 22nd. CBS, Cody Benjamin, 16th. The 33rd team, which is awesome. I love what they do. They have a Jimmy Garoppolo 17th, just like me. Pro Football Focus has him at number 24. But you look at EPA, they have him at number 6. So, and it's funny, and I talked about this just a second ago, last episode with Wayne Breezy a little bit. Anytime I post a negative thing on the 49ers defense, which haven't been able to do much this year, half the comments are, oh, it's Jimmy's fault, though. Oh, but everybody blames Jimmy, though. I love how people are loyal to the 49ers quarterback whenever it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I wish that those same traits would happen to a 22-year-old quarterback who's played 10 quarters of football. Doesn't go across that way, but that's okay. But I love it. Love your players that you're loyal to, and you fight for them. That's what being a fan's about. I love that. But you cannot look at a game where Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 fumble, and a safety as a positive game. If you felt like Jimmy had a positive game last week, I don't think you were paying attention. And you probably turned off the TV every single time number 15 was out there at quarterback. Now, again, I don't like measuring anybody against Patrick Mahomes because everybody will lose. And so that's rough. Can you put that comment back up there from Mosquito Killer? Thank you. Appreciate you, Mosquito. I hate mosquitoes, but you kill them, so I appreciate that. Thank you. He says, Jimmy, I officially dropped to 20. He just keeps making the same rookie mistakes over and over and over again. Yeah, there are certain areas where it just doesn't seem like he is, quote unquote, developing. I don't know how much a 32-year-old quarterback's going to develop, going into his 9th year. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, wherever you put Jimmy, that's fine. He's got a 1.4 grade on the touchdown to turnover ratio. So again, obviously let's dive in just a little bit more on his numbers. 64% completion percentage, not good. 1,500 yards, pretty good for Jimmy. 9 touchdowns, all right. 4 interceptions, okay. 1 rushing touchdown, 3 fumbles. So it's not bad. It's not good. It's average. And again, remember what I said about if you don't have a top 6 quarterback, what you have to do? You got to go get one. If you don't have I don't know. Is there anybody else in the chat that's putting Jimmy in the top 10? Is there anybody else that's saying, we got one guy that says he should be number 2. I'm curious if he's still here. I would love to, who would he take? Would it be Patrick Mahomes, Jimmy? And so you take Jimmy Garoppolo over Josh Allen, over Herbert, over Hurts, over all those guys, Burrow, that Lamar Jackson. And that's cool if that's your opinion. But yeah, I think if this 2022 season has taught us anything, you completely understand why the 49ers moved up to get Trey Lance. And also, have you heard any other quarterback that was available at number 3 last year on this list yet? Justin Fields ain't made it yet. Mac Jones ain't made it yet. Zach Wilson ain't made it yet. Trevor Lawrence ain't made it yet. And Trevor Lawrence and Wilson were not on this list. And no, Chris Sims. Kellen Mond is not on this list. So he is not there. I know Chris Sims is going to be upset. He had him as the second best quarterback in the draft. But yeah, he's not on this. Kellen Mond still on an active roster. So I guess he's hold out hope, baby. Hold out hope. I love this comment. I love it because here's why this is frustrating. Because I could sit here and say Jimmy Garoppolo is my 17th best quarterback in the NFL. And people will get pissed off on both sides because they'll say, no way, he's 12th. No way, he should be in the 20s. Okay, but this is why I like Doggo. I love dogs anyway. You tell me who he goes, right? Who does he go ahead? You have to tell me. It's very easy to say, oh, you're too high on him or you're too low on him. That don't mean crap to me. What I need to hear is where and why. Justify your answer. It's very easy to say, oh, he should be lower. That does nothing, right? That's not this show. We want intelligent conversation based on analytics and film and things like that, backed up. So support your claim. I'm not saying you're wrong. This is all opinion based. If you think Jimmy Garoppolo is the number 2 quarterback in the NFL, hats off to you. Help me understand why, please, because I don't see it. And that's okay. I hope that Jimmy Garoppolo finishes the year as the number 2 quarterback. That would be awesome. 49ers would win the Super Bowl, hands down. Now, Doggo, he says, NFC quarterbacks better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's got Hurts, Cousins, Geno, Dak, Brady, then Jimmy. Okay, so he's got him 6th best in the NFC. Then he goes on to say the AFC is littered with good quarterbacks, so probably 21 for him. Oh, I like this discussion. Okay, I'm going to go back through my list, and let's just count NFC quarterbacks. Oh, I like that, Doggo. I've got Hurts, Geno, Brady, Daniel Jones, Cousins, Rodgers, Kyler, Dak. I've got him 9th. So I've got him 9th in the NFC, which is interesting. I have more NFC quarterbacks in my average 16 up than I do AFC quarterbacks. Interesting. But all the top ones, 3 out of the top 4 and 5 out of the top 6 are all in the AFC. That's a fun little man. That's interesting. I appreciate that, Doggo. Well said. Well said. And yeah, I think that this is huge too, Jeremy. The problem is he can't put a full game together. So up and down. Yeah, if you string together, I could convince you Jimmy Garoppolo is elite, and I could convince you Jimmy Garoppolo should not be in the NFL based on the highlights that I put together. You support both claims. And the sad thing is, they're in the same game. You're going to have a pretty damn hard time finding a worse throw than that interception right before the half ever by any quarterback ever in the NFL. You're going to have a hard time finding worse quarterback play. Shout out Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone for a safety and then getting a safety 3 weeks later, holding the ball 4 seconds in the end zone. The awareness isn't there. However, you see some of those throws that he makes and fits into tight windows, and you're like, ooh, all right, now we're cooking. So it's the give and take of Jimmy G, and it's just what it is. And again, if you disagree with me, let me go through this list again. Sessler, 22nd, 16th, 17th, 24th, and 6th. Those are the rankings from other NFL.com, CBS, 3013, Pro Football Focus, and just overall EPA. So, yeah, we'll see there. Well, it's kind of weird. None of your business. Jimmy is a backup quarterback. It shows. The 9 traded 4 first rounders to get rid of him. I like that. And again, I have him 17th. I think that he's a starting quarterback. But again, one of the philosophical concepts of the NFL, if you don't have a quarterback that can become elite, you got to go get one. So if you have the 17th quarterback, which is where I have Jimmy right now, you cannot stay. You cannot stay. Now, who do I have below him? I got this is my below average category. I only got 2 here. Matt Stafford and Andy Dalton, just based on numbers. Stafford is -2. -2 in the touchdown to turnover ratio. He has 6 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 4 fumbles. He has twice as many turnovers as touchdowns. You look at the Rams' record in those games and getting blown out, you can see why. Now, will he turn it around? You guys talk arm fatigue? Stafford's always had one of the strongest arms in the NFL, and he's always been able to fit in, the ball wherever he wanted to, but he's always jeopardized ball security. Well, yeah, father time. We'll see. I do hate that the 49ers are playing him off a bye week. He finally got rest. I don't like that. But you cannot make an argument that Matt Stafford has even been good this year. You cannot. You cannot have twice as many turnovers as touchdowns and say that's been a good year. He does have 71% completion percentage. That's pretty good. But no, there is not a human being that can argue. Now, last year, cool, but that's not how we're doing these rankings, right? I said 2022 and beyond. How many more years? Throw this up in the chat. I'm curious. How many more years do you think Matt Stafford plays after this? Is he going to play? He's in year 14. You think Matt Stafford's got 3 more years in him? You think he's got 2 more? 4? How many more years is Matt Stafford going to be a quarterback in the NFL? I know he just signed an extension, and I was so thankful whenever he did. One, because I love everybody to get paid, even though I don't like Matt Stafford. But yeah, man, it's interesting. So yeah, 2 to 3. Oh, we got 6. You think Matt Stafford's going to play 20 years in this league? That's interesting. I got 2. I got 3. I got 4. Interesting. Giving him 2 to 4 years, says Clayton. I respect Clayton. I like it. 2 to 4 years. I will tell you this, and this is, shout out to Tom for the Rams report. He said, as long as Stafford's here, so is McVay. When Stafford leaves, so does McVay, because he's been with a quarterback and he's been without one. And that's where he is. His arm's got to hold up. We'll see here. I got Dalton in this category. He's got a 1.4, which is pretty good. Dalton's played pretty good ball before that last game. He was on a crazy tear, and then through those, back-to-back pick sixes. But I've got him below average. Now I got my bad, and this is 20 plus. So we're at 20 now. And again, you can mess with this any way you want to. And the absolute worst turnover to touchdown ratio. I'll wait. I'm going to put this up in the chat. I'm going to leave out the answer to this. Which quarterback in the NFL has the worst turnover to touchdown ratio? Throw that in the chat. In your opinion, it's a quarterback we haven't talked about yet. It's not Stafford. This person has a -2.4 touchdown to interception ratio. It's dead last in the NFL, and nobody else is really, really close to it. 5 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, 11 fumbles, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Who has the worst touchdown to interception or just touchdown turnover ratio? I'll give you guys some time to throw that in there. Some other people that I put in this category: Goff's at a 1.1, so barely above average. Again, 1 is if you throw 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, right? Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick, one of the highest rated players I've ever graded. He's at a 1.1. He hasn't been great. Mariota's negative. He was a freaking NFC player of the week against us through 1 incompletion. He's got a negative 1.2. He's on the wrong side. More turnovers than touchdowns. Not against us. Brissett, he's negative 1.2. Matt Ryan's negative 2.2. That's why he got benched. Mac Jones, negative 2.3. Mac Jones has been terrible. Mac Jones has been terrible. I should have like a clip of Charles Barkley right here jumping into it. Terrible. That's my Charles Barkley impersonation. I think it was okay. I think it was all right. I was from the South for a while, so I can muster the deep Alabama accent. But Mac Jones has been awful. Literally, listen to these stats. He's played in 4 games, 65% completion percentage. That's good. 2 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 1 rushing touchdown, 1 fumble. That's awful. And you say, well, he's hurt and he's playing through injuries. All right, cool. Let's look at Bailey Zappi. Almost same thing. 4 games, 70% completion percentage. Better than Mac Jones. 8.5 yards per attempt. Mac Jones, 7.8. Zap's better there. Passing touchdowns, 5. Better there. Interceptions, half. 3. Better there. No rushing touchdown, 4 fumbles. Worse there. But they have the same, like Mac Jones, negative 2.3 touchdowns, turnovers. Zappi's negative 1.4. Both are bad. Also, stumbling through the Twitter machine, did you know Bill Belichick has a losing record when Tom Brady's not his quarterback? Interesting. Everybody wants to jump on Kyle Shanahan. And yeah, legit criticism whenever you look at his overall record with the Niners. That's bad. However, he didn't play with the best quarterback in the NFL for freaking 17 years. He's mustered it together, right? And again, where's Jimmy Garoppolo? He's 17th for me. So you take that for what you want. Davis Mills, negative 1.2. Pickett, negative 2.0. Now, to all the people that are answering, I think we got some of the right answers. The worst interception or touchdown to turnover ratio, the correct answer is Justin Fields. And that is correct, who looked great Monday night, which I absolutely love. But I think that's the only person that got it right. So shout out to Mark Musa. What's up, big guy? Fields is the correct answer. Negative 2.4. And it is different whenever you look at, he's coming off. I love Fields. And if the 49ers would have picked Fields, I would have been very happy. Pick Mac Jones, I wouldn't have been. But you look at his stats, he's only thrown for 1,000 yards in 7 games. That's awful. 5 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, 11 fumbles. Does have 2 rush touchdowns. Fields is struggling, and a lot of that is coaching. A lot of that is who he's throwing to Dante Pettis and N'Keal Harry, which is awful. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. Talk about back to the Patriots. Losing McDaniels hurts a lot too. Yeah, they're a mess. They're a mess. And so, those are all the players I ranked. I didn't rank anybody else because the other ones aren't playing currently. So what do I got? 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 30 total quarterbacks ranked. Didn't do Wentz, they're just a mess. I don't even mess with them. But I got Jimmy at 17. The 49ers, guess how many teams are in the NFL? 32. Average quarterback play would be 16 or 17, which is a 500 record. Where are the 49ers? They're 3-4. The story kind of tells itself. Now, it's much more complicated than that, and I understand that. Oh, Russell Wilson. Yeah, I did put him in there, but I don't have his stats there. Let's pull this up, okay? I love this, and I apologize because the list I was going off of was current quarterbacks, and he has not played. So here we go. Let's look at his stats for this season. 2012. He's got 5 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. What's his fumble rate? Here we go. Fumbles lost. He hasn't lost any fumbles. So he's sitting at 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Let's put that in the calculator because I'm not the smartest man in live. 5 divided by 3. Boom. He's at a 1.6. So I'd put him in the average category. I'd put him right with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's like almost identical numbers, but you look at, what he hasn't been able to do. I mean, golly, 58% completion percentage is terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put him below Jimmy. Yeah, I think that's where I would put him. I'd put him in the below average. I'm going to put him with Stafford and Dalton. That's where I would put him. So I'm going to put him in that 18 to 20 range. Adjust my thing here for when the Smithsonian calls so that I could share this with them. Captain Cringe. I didn't even type in his own name. Captain Cringe. He winds up at number 19 for me, behind Stafford, ahead of Dalton. Definitely worth all those first-round picks. But he beat us. Why you got to do that, John? You want to piss me off, man. I'm making myself mad. Because, I have the voice of, again, I can't hear you guys. Your comments help a lot. And, again, shout out to Clayton. He's running this perfectly well. But I have the comments in the back of my head. Okay, I'll say something, and I know somebody listening to this literally is driving in their car and be like, beat our ass. I know that's happening. And so I hear it, even though it's delayed and you're not listening live, it's okay. Or if you are listening live, thank you. Anyway, apologize for the language, but sometimes it's necessary. Now, let's jump into some 49ers news. I'm feeling long-winded today. I was struggling bad this week, coming off back-to-back road trips and jumping into, doing this every day. I was struggling. I told the wife, man, I am struggling to get work done lately. She's like, hey, take a morning off, go to the beach. She knows me. So I woke up at 4 this morning, drove out to the beach, got a long walk in, ate some good food, came back. Now I'm with you guys. So now I feel it. You know what I mean? I'm like Superman, but with redder cheeks because I got my vitamin D in, and now I'm ready to go. So if you are coming out this week, 49ersrushroadtrip.com, man. So excited about this. We've got parties on parties on parties planned all year. Do want to bring up that we have 2 new additions. Dale Fitty and Barrett's are going to be coming out to our Saturday party. They're going to be performing live their Red Out special, which is absolutely incredible. So whether you're on Spotify, they're not paying me to do this. I just really like them. They're good dudes and excited to help build their brand. So on Spotify or iTunes, you want to check out the Red Out anthem, the Niner anthem that they put together. It's pretty damn good. They're going to be with us. So head to 49ersrushroadtrip.com. We're going to be at the Fountain from 3 to 8 p.m. Then we got our tailgate Sunday, which is going to be a blast. Super excited about that. Doing that with 49ers Worldwide SoCal. Shout out to BC. He's absolutely incredible. So make sure you come party with us. Look for the flag, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Get that thing going. And also, I want to say this. If you go to our website, I'm going to throw this up here and make sure I don't mess this up. This is what 49ersrushroadtrip.com looks like if you haven't checked it out. And so we have all of our parties. So at the LA party, we got the LA tailgate, we got the Arizona, Mexico trip up. And on top of that, if you're coming out to Mexico City with us, guess what? We have discounted hotel rates for you right here. Even if you don't buy the ticket to party with us, get a cheap hotel. Because here's what we're doing in Mexico. We're staying at the Marriott Reforma, which I'm super excited about. And we have charter buses picking us up from the hotel, taking us to the party and back. That way you don't have to worry about anything. We're trying to keep it safe. We're trying to keep it family friendly. We're trying to have a great time together. Then the next day, the day of the game, because it's a Monday night game, we got charter buses picking us up at the hotel, taking us to the party. Then we have charter buses after the party taking us to the game. Then we got charter buses taking us back to the hotel. That's $99. And that's all you can drink, all you can eat, 3 charter buses. I don't know if you know this. I'm not great at making money. I'm pretty damn good at throwing good parties. And I think a testament to the Rush Road Trip crew. Shout out to Wade Breezy, Nick, Vicky, some of the best people ever. Mose, love these guys. Fair, great work always. But we want to build a community. I'm not seeing all these trips as a revenue source yet. I probably should, but I want to establish our kind of foothold in this community that, look, if you're traveling by yourself and you need a community to be with and have a great experience, a lasting experience, that's what 49ersrushroadtrip.com is. So whether it's you or you got a friend, tell them, hey, man, they got discounted hotels up over here where you can stay with nothing but Niners fans in a safe area, and we're going to protect you. Like, we're literally taking you from the hotel to the party to the game back. You don't have to worry about anything, and that's all included. Now, those prices will go up as we get closer, but anyway, that's there for you, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Now, let's jump to some 49ers talk, and it's crazy. We're 45 minutes in, and, I want to get into this practice report. A lot of guys out. No Armstead practice, no Debo practice with his hamstring. Shanahan did say he's progressing. I fully expect Debo to play this week, by the way. Kyle Juszczyk's the one guy that will not be playing. I don't think we get Armstead back. Kyle Juszczyk's already been ruled out with his surgery of his finger. Sampson, no practice today. I do think he'll play. Greenlaw, no practice today. That one's huge to me with his calf. Because, again, back to the film. The biggest difference in the first half and second half, when Greenlaw went out, 49ers defense went to trash. First half, 49ers defense was okay. Was that all Greenlaw? No. Did he have an all-world game? No. But that drop down from Greenlaw to DFF, they took advantage of that, man, very, very badly. So Greenlaw is a huge one. Trent Williams got a vet day off. He's fine. And Juwan Jennings is out as well with a hamstring, which if Debo can't go and Juwan Jennings can't go, I think both will. Man, now you're talking Ray McLeod starting, Danny Gray being your number 3, and Kyle Juszczyk's out. Like, you're starting to get into some weird – that's going to be rough. Christian McCaffrey might have 50 touches this game. Just going to throw that out there. Limited – probably best news of the day. Jason Verrett, baby. He has been activated. So he's limited, but you had the 3-week window to bring him out of the PUP, which they did. So he is now officially on the roster. They cut Tevin Coleman to make room for him, but then signed Tevin Coleman right back to the practice squad. So we still have him. And what do I expect for Verrett? I don't think he's playing this week. I do not think he's playing this week. I think they're going to rest him for the bye, and the plan will be to work him in some after the bye. They're being very smart and precautious with him, which the 49ers are not known for. Not known for at all. And so I think that's big. I'm excited to see what's going on. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and I put this up on Twitter, and I thought that it was interesting. The 49ers traded a lot of picks for Christian McCaffrey. 2, 3, 4, 5. And you traded your first next year, Trey Lance trade. So you don't have a lot of picks. Now, comp picks, they're there. But I don't think the comp picks, I understand it helps. That's not really why the 49ers were able to make that trade. If you look at the way in which the 49ers continue to redshirt players, look at the players starting this year. Diamador Lenore, he's been great. Talanoa Hufanga, one of the best players in the NFL. Aaron Banks, golly, dude might make the Pro Bowl this year. That's how good he's been playing. Like a Pro Bowl level guy. We all said he was a bust because he didn't play last year. Wrong. They redshirt players. That's what they do. And so, like, whenever you continue to do that, now let's look to this year. Current players that the 49ers are redshirting, Nick Zakelj, who I really hope is center. I really hope he's going to be a center. Jason Poe, who's guard, I hope center. One of those guys I really want to be a center long term. Linebackers, and I want one of these guys to start playing right now over DFF. That's what I want. Marcelino McCrary-Ball, Curtis Robinson. You got these 2 young, bright, high potential linebackers that have almost the exact same athletic profile as Fred Warner. You got them waiting in the wings. I want to see them. Kalia Davis, who you spent a 6th-round pick on, defensive lineman, right? He had the injury. He's coming back. Quantrez Knight, corner. Taylor Hawkins, safety. So these are the types of players that you develop like an Emmanuel Mosley, like a Ross Dwelly, like a Daniel Brunskill, right? Like a Azeez Al-Shire, right? Like we've seen them develop these undrafted / late round targets and just wait. Oh, what's up, Doggo? Quantrez Knight. I am such a big Team Knight guy. I want him to be called up. I really, really do. But I know they're just going to stash him and stash him and stash him and let him develop. It's just the way they do things. And it's not a bad way to do things. It's not. But if you're one of those people that's just like, gosh, we got no picks. And you're right. I'm a draft guy. I don't know what I'm going to do for the draft next year. I really don't know what I'm going to do for the draft next year. My plan was to fly out to Kansas City where the draft's going to be at and host draft parties out there. I don't know how many people are going to fly out. I don't know. If you got some ideas, some people have I've asked a couple people that I should go to San Francisco or Santa Clara and just have a bar there and go live for days 1 and day 2. I'm going live for the draft. I can't help it. I don't care if it's me and just my grandma watching. Shout out to BB. Like I'm doing it. I have to do the draft. I have no choice. But I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like. What we're going to do there. And dude, I appreciate this comment. He says the 49ers own Jim Rome. Appreciate that. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, Shot J, maybe come to Santa Clara and throw a party because I don't think people want to fly to Kansas City for no first round, no second round picks, only third round comp picks. I don't know. We'll see. But if you've got an idea, go ahead and email me, 49ers Rush podcast@gmail.com. I am curious to see what you'd say. Curious to say what it is. Clayton, Niners love to make draft day moves. You never know what might go down. Yeah, you're right. Last year we had the Debo drama, right? Because everybody was saying he was going to be traded, except for me. I kept screaming to everybody, he's not going to be traded. He's going to be here. And everybody kept like making fun of me. Guess what, guys? Guess what? He's still here. I'll count that as a win. Also as a win, the man, the producer, the legend, Clayton, behind the scenes. Amazing job as always, keeping me sane, allowing me to go through all these crazy thoughts and keep the flow going. And our executive producers at home who are just always crushing it and supporting the podcast. 49ers George 365, Kilted Niner. Appreciate you guys. And until next time, love you guys. Stay strong, faithful.